Hello, welcome to my new Minecraft Redstone video, and today I'll be talking about pistons. Pistons are very simple. When you power it, it'll push up, and when you unpower it, it'll just go back. Very simple. And pistons has two variations. You have sticky pistons and piston. Before I start talking about more stuff about pistons, I want to establish one thing, which is the push limit. The push limit in Minecraft is 12 per pistons, which means if there's 12 blocks in this column right now, then it can be successfully pushed. However, if there is one extra block, which is now 13 for both of these columns, the pistons will just simply not push. And even though there are mods, such as carpet, that can allow you to change the push limit, for normal building, we will stick with the principle of having 12 blocks for each piston pushing. So now, onto the difference between sticky piston and piston. A piston and sticky piston's huge difference is that sticky piston can push a block and pull only the block that is connected, and a piston will push it out, and when you turn it back off, it will just be staying out wherever it got pushed. But one thing about sticky piston is that it will only pull back one block and not the blocks after it. The only reason that it will be pulled back if it is connected by a slime block or a honey block. It's like this. And all the blocks attached to the slime blocks will count to the push limit, and they can be pushed and pulled back. Now, if you would like to push the blocks back after being pushed out, then you will have to do a contraption like this that push an observer, and then the observer will have a redstone signal and power these two redstone dust, which then will power this piston and push the whole thing back. Let me demonstrate. So when I click it, you can see that when I click it, the whole row get pulled back. So this method would not require any slime blocks, and simply just using observer, piston, and a bit of redstone dust. And you realize that I'm using an observer here is because I cannot keep this piston powered because the other piston will be trying to push it back, which leads me to the next point, that piston cannot push an already powered piston. So if I try to directly power the piston, the contraption simply would not work because this piston cannot push a piston that has already been activated. And even if I turn it off, since the observer will only do a one tick pulse and will no longer detect any change, you will be required to manually repair and push it back in before you can use it next time. Well, you're probably wondering, why pistons? Like, why would I ever need pistons to like push things around? Well, one of the examples that I can think of right now is redstone signal transfer. If you have seen my last video, then you realize that most of the redstone transfer actually requires piston if you want to do it without redstone dust. For example, this method, even though it still uses redstone dust, but this is an instant signal based on a piston, and this is assigned by Yakane, or I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, and you should check out his video about the instant signal wiring that he created for both horizontal and vertical way. And on to the next part of some blocks that piston just can't push. So these blocks cannot be pushed by piston, meaning even if you have only one of them, the piston simply just cannot push these blocks out. And these are just a few of the examples, and there are much more other blocks that I haven't shown. So the basic ones are just these blocks of obsidian or just end portal frames, and then we got the ancient city blocks, and you got different type of spawners, and you got the bedrock. And the other type of blocks they can push are the functional blocks, or blocks that can store data, just like trap chests, barrel, different type of chests, droppers, dispensers, and hoppers, and basically any block that has a custom page to it that you can go put stuff in it or interact with. So back to the point that I was making, where piston cannot push a powered piston. So for example, the top piston is powered, which means the bottom simply cannot power it anyway. And the only way to do it is if I turn off the top piston. And as you can see, it instantly pushes the piston up when it's powering. And same for pulling back. If the top one is powered, the bottom one just can't pull it back. But once I get rid of the top one to be not powered, guess what? It works again. So it is kind of like a sequence that you need to follow when powering pistons to avoid them just being stuck and just simply doesn't work. Okay, now this is one of the most classic redstone builds involving piston, which is the 2x2 piston door. And how does this work? Well, let's just see through a little bit. And as you can see here, it's very basic, just having 4 pistons, pushing them from inside the wall to the middle, with these pistons just pushing the blocks out afterwards. And the wiring is also very simple, like as you can see. When I turn it off, these redstone rod will turn off first, which will unpower these 4 pistons. And why? Because piston cannot be pulled when they are powered, remember? Which is why the sequence of pulling the pistons back into the side of the wall will be done 2 ticks afterwards, after the piston has finished pulling back. And when it comes out, we can simply just do the same thing while powering these first, and then when the inside pistons, these 4 pistons, reach right under here, it'll be instantly be powered due to it already being on. And this is one of the simplest and most classic redstone piston builds that you ever find. So why does this exactly work? Like, if you have been learning redstone or know redstone a bit, you're probably wondering, hold up, how does these bottom pistons get powers all the way from up here? Well, this is the next point that I'm getting to. It's a bit of feature, I guess, of redstone called quasi-connectivity. And this is caused by because the code of a piston, along with a few other blocks, which are droppers, dispensers, normal piston, and sticky pistons, are actually based on the code of a door. So, a door can of course be powered from top here. So same for a piston, but not exactly instant. So when I power this, the piston is technically powered, it just hasn't realized it yet. So what we could do is do a little bit of block update, which are basically anything that an observer can detect, because that's just how it is. And we can basically change the state of the piston by updating it and changing the power. And the placing a block is not the only thing that can update the status. It can also be done by powering another piston. So why put it side by side when you can just put it in the same column? which then allows this very weird thing of the piston seemingly getting remotely powered from all the way down here. Quasi connectivity is one of those things that you just have it, you know it exists, but you just don't really get it. So I'll make a video about it in the future, don't worry. So you thought pistons are simple? Well, not really, they get even crazier. And as you can see here, this is kind of like a floating water. And you're probably thinking, oh, maybe you got a barrier or something? No, absolutely not. I can just place a block here. But then you're like, oh, wait, the water's going all over the place again. Well, I can simply reset it by doing this. So, why does this happen? Let me explain. You see, when a piston push out and attach on these slime blocks, they will create a kind of like a cage thing so that the water can't get out. And when I unpower it, the piston thought they could pull the slime blocks back because it didn't, like they just can. They can pull like slime blocks. That's kind of like one of their, I don't know, sets, I guess. Well, anyways, but because it's getting blocked by this obsidian right here, and because the sticky piston is also like attached to the ground, so you're gonna push it anyways. So it just kinda just gets stuck. And the piston's like, well, I pulled those blocks back. So that means there should be blocks right here, right now. But then the game's like, no, what do you mean? You didn't even pull the freaking slime blocks. But, I guess the piston just doesn't care at all. So, it just kinda like, I already pulled them back. I did my job. And the blocks, no, I'm staying here. So the water kinda just stays here. And if you think this water is weird, it actually does what a normal water is supposed to do. If I go into survival right now, and then I just swim in it, you can see that I have drowning like particles. And give me a while and I'll start drowning. Probably. Yay. So, yes, you can tell that this water works normally. And the only time when it will get updated is when you just put a block next to it, which is literally any kind of stuff that observer can observe. And just simply reset it. So this is kind of like an interesting thing they can play with it, is you can get a slab, which I have one, and when you place any blocks on it, it will kind of just update the water. So a thing that you could do with it is just having an observer and just check this block here. So when the water falls down, it will activate the observer, and when anyone places a block here, it will just update the observer, which is pretty cool. And I bet you could do much more stuff than this. Also, this works same for lava, which I don't have one. Lava right here. So if I just break this block right now, and I get a lava, and do the same, as you can tell, you got floating lava, and yes, it burns. Ouch. Whoops. So if you made it this far into the video, and good job. Nobody really stays here that long. So I'll give you one little bonus that you could play around with. Follow me. as you can see, I'm in the nether roof right now because I'm going to play with some explosives. So if you have seen bedrock breaking, then you're wondering how it actually works. And I will be showing you in a more simple way. So when I do a tick freeze and I light up this TNT, and then we wait for 77 ticks, and right before it explodes, we power this piston, and I'll slowly take it step by step. As you can see, this piston is getting pushed up right now, but it hasn't really fully pushed out yet. And it screwed up. So if you didn't notice, I'm in the nether roof right now because I'm going to be playing with explosives. So have you ever seen those bedrock breaking machines and you ever wonder how it works? Well, let me show you it in a more simple way. Let me demonstrate. So when I freeze the tick and I light this TNT up, and then I wait for precisely 78 ticks, which I don't need to type, which is around nearly 4 seconds, minus like 1 over 10th of a second. And I power this piston. And since piston takes 2 ticks to come out, so if I go step by step, so if you didn't notice, I'm in the nether roof right now, because I'll be playing with some explosives. So have you seen those videos of like bedrock breaking machine or like bedrock eating machine? I don't know their names. You wanna know how it works? Well, I'll be showing you how it works in a more simple way. Let me demonstrate. So, at first, I'll freeze the tick, and then I light stop, and I wait precisely 77 ticks, which is around nearly 4 seconds, which is the explosion time of a TNT, like minus 3 ticks. And why 3 ticks? Because how this works is actually by powering a piston, and when I slowly step the ticks, you can see that the piston just started pushing out. And the exact second tick that the TNT blew up, the piston had pushed out and got kaboomed. And this is kind of like a glitch that we have in Minecraft that creates headless piston. So let's just unfreeze it. So you're probably wondering, why do I need this? This looks so boring. Well, wait till you find out what it can do. So let's just say I have bedrock here, and it's blocking my way. Oh no, what should I do? Well, if I simply unpower this lever right now, then because the piston is technically still existing somewhere here, it will simply generate a new piston head and destroy the bedrock. So let me just freeze the tick, and we go tick by tick. So you can see, in one tick the piston instantly came back and retracted just like a normal piston. So this can theoretically delete anything. Anything like photo frames, bedrock, like you have seen it all. Like even command blocks if you can get it somehow. And of course, you are not gonna to be creating it the way that I'm doing it, but there are videos of how people just perfectly time the ticks to be 77 ticks and just kind of like push the pistons out right in time. And there are also other ways of doing it, like using redstone dust that doesn't look powered or something. But basically, this is the most simple way of bedrock big breaker in a nutshell. If you enjoyed this video and you made it this far and want to know more about redstone, maybe subscribe, comment, like, just leave a sign, I don't know. And thank you for watching my video. Goodbye.